Hey everyone, welcome to Simplilearn's YouTube channel. In this session, we will be learning about slicers and filters in Excel. But before we begin, let me tell you guys that we have daily updates on multiple technologies. So if you're a tech geek in a continuous hunt for latest technological trends, then consider getting subscribed to our YouTube channel and don't forget to hit that bell icon to never miss an update from Simplilearn. Now without further ado, let's get started with the agenda for today's session. That is slicers and filters in Excel. So slicers in Excel are software filters used along with Excel tables or Excel pivot tables over a large amount of data. Not just filtering out data, but slices also help you with an easy understanding of the information being extracted and displayed on the screen. Now, Microsoft Excel slices are compatible with Windows and Macintosh operating systems. Now, let us understand how to implement slicers in Excel. So for that, we might want to get back to the practical mode, that is, starting our Microsoft Excel. Now we are on our Excel sheet, and as you can see on my screen, there is some data available on the Excel spreadsheet. And this table is not just any table. This table from Microsoft Excel is been converted into an actual table. As you know, by default, Excel considers all the data which has been inserted into the spreadsheet as a database. And to implement these slices in Excel, we might want to create or convert the format of database into a normal table. For that, you can select all your data and just press Ctrl T, and that will allow you an option called Convert the Data into Table. Now, since this table is already converted as a table, we can directly start implementing or inserting slices into the spreadsheet. Now for that, select all your data. Then go into the Insert option. And in the Insert ribbon, you can see the Filters group. And in the Filters group, select the option called Slicer. Now you will be provided with multiple options. Since we have the columns Employee ID, Employee Name, Zone, Designation, Department, Salary, Employee's Date of Birth, and Employee's Date of Joining. So we can choose any of the options available according to our columns and create the slices. Now let me select the first one, that is Zone, next Designation, Department, and let's also select Employee Name. Now press OK, and there you go, we have our slices. Now let us try to rearrange these slices. All you can do is just select and drag them up. And done. Now let us imagine that we want to see or take a look at the employees who are working in the East Zone. Then we have all the information displayed on the screen who are working in the East Zone. They are Jack, Tony, Banner, Fred, etc. and their department, designation, etc., all on one single screen. So this really helps you while you're presenting your data in a presentation. Now for a change, let's try to select the department. Now if your client wants to select the data from only analytics department, then you might want to select on the analytics key on the department slicer, and there you go, you have an employee called Luke Hobbs who works in the East Zone, and his department is analytics and his designation is contract based, and the salary he is getting is 65,000. Now similarly, you can see that we have only selected analytics, and your client also wants data from IT support. Now you can see that analytics is gone. But what if you want both analytics and IT support? Then you have an option called Select Multiple. Then you can select analytics and IT support, and if you want HR, you can also do that. And in the zone, if you want West along with East, then you can do the same, East and West, and you have all the employee details. And in the designation, let's try to select senior, trainee. Okay, select multiple, senior, trainee, and manager. So that's how you do it. So that's how it's done, and that's how you implement slicers in Excel to simplify the filtering options using slicers during a presentation.
Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial on Microsoft Excel. We have already learned some basic operations which you can do in Excel, and let's implement our knowledge by working on this particular data which is coming in from housing data set. Now here, if we see some fields, we have agent, date listed, area, list price, and this is basically the data which has been sorted in newest to oldest order of date listed. So how do we arrive at this? So what I can do is I can just click on data listed, and then I can either go in here, I can select sort, I can get into custom sort, and then I can choose the column based on which I would want to sort the data. So I would look for the newest data to the oldest data. That means that would be in a descending order of dates, or you could say the oldest date or the earliest month will be towards the lower side of your sheet. So here we can select date listed. Now I can say let it sort based on cell values and the order what we have here. So we have newest to oldest. So let's select this. I can say okay, and now if you see, the date has been sorted. So we have your 10/18/2007 on the top, so that seems to be the latest date. And as we go down, we will see an earlier month or an earlier month than that in this date listed. So we have sorted our data into newest to oldest order, and that's based on your date column. So the result shows up here. Now what we can also do is we can have different questions which we would want to answer. So for example, I would want to sort the data in ascending order of area and descending order of agent name. How do we do that? So let's look into this. So this is here. I already have the result here. And how did I get this? So I'm looking for ascending order of area and descending order of agent name. So we can start with any particular column, that does not matter. So for example, if I look into this Excel sheet, I have my agent name, select this, which we want in a descending order. So we could either do a sort and then go for descending sort Z to A. We could also use the filter option here on the top right, and we could do it, or I could just say sort Z to A, and then it has arranged the data based on the agent column being in descending order. Now I can go into area, and then I can again do a sort, and I wanted my area column to be used for sorting the data in ascending to descending. And that basically not only changes the order of this particular column but for my complete data. So let's do that. And now if you see, we have the data which has been sorted. So we can see how many values we have here and the area values which we see, and this is how you get your result. So I'll just do a Control Z and again, and I'm back to my original data, and this is the sorted result which we are seeing at. Similarly, we can answer other questions. For example, sort the data according to the following order of area. That is, we are saying county, central, and then your county. So we can basically choose in which particular way we would want to do it. So it is county, central, and then again county. So if I look into my sheet 3, so here I basically have my data which is having some South County, then you have your central, and then you have your North County. So we would want to sort the data to solve our problem, which is according to the following order. So first we go for area, then we go for South County, Central, and North County. So what we can do is we can basically have area field selected, and I would want to sort this particular data. So I have South County, Central, and North County. So I can basically go for custom sort, and then I can choose which is the value or column which I'm interested in. Let's go for area. We will go for something like cell values. Well, you can also try to explore conditional formatting icon if this is what you would want to use, or we can basically go for just cell values. And here we can say if I would be interested in first getting my values for South County. So for example, I can say custom list, and then I can basically give in the new list here. So I can say S dot county, and then I would want central, and then I would want North County. So let's select this as it exists. We can basically say add, and that's basically the order which we want. Say OK, and then say OK here. And now what we would want is we would want our data, so we can compare that with the values which we see here. It starts with Kelly. You have in the 12th row something like Lang, and that's what we are doing. So we can basically arrange the data in a particular order by choosing a custom list and then sorting your data. So that's one more simpler task what we have done, where we have sorted the data in the order where under our area column, we first wanted South County, then we wanted central data, and then we wanted North County. So this is how you can do it. Now, let's look into one more problem. So it says find all the houses in the central area, and we would want to basically apply a regular filter. Let's see how do we do that. So we can click on this, and here we have the data. So the problem statement is we would want to find all the houses in central area. Now how do we do that? We can do a sorting, but we would want to use the filter which you see here is implemented. So how do you do it? So you can select this area, and say for example I would want to apply filter. I can just go in here and I can say let's get a filter on my first row, and now I have filters applied. So we are interested in looking into the central area houses. Let's go in here. It says all these fields are selected. That means it shows everything wherein your area has all these values. Let's unselect this, and then I will only be interested in the central. So let's say OK, and then say OK. So now you see that the area filter has been applied, and we are looking at the central column. So what we have done is we have applied a simple filter, and we are looking at our data. At any point of time, if you do not want the filter, then what I can do is I can select this, and I can say, well, I'm interested in all the data. So I could do this, or you can clear the filters from area and you get your data back. So that's in one way you can filter out your data. So let's look at an example of sort and filter, where we might have to filter the data based on two columns or multiple columns with different kind of values, where it could be and or condition. Now say for example this is the data I have, and this is the question which we need to answer, such as find the list of all houses in the central region with pool and South County without pool. Now, if it was a simple filter based on one cell, I could have just selected my header row. I could have then applied the filter, and once I have the filter, I can look in area where I have three regions. So I'm only interested in central and South County. So I can get rid of North County, and that's fine. But then we have two different conditions here. So we need the data in central region to have the value for pool being true, and for South County the value has to be without pool. Now how do we do that? So what we can do is we can first create a copy of these headers here. So let me do that. Now the area has to be South County. So basically I can either just select this, and I can choose this value, and then I can select this, and then I can choose central. So that's the criteria which I have, and the pool value has to be, so central region should be with pool. So then this one basically has to be true, and this one has to be basically false. So South County is without pool. So let's select one of the values here, and this is my criteria. Now to get my result, we can always place your cursor here and you can check this is M column and 8th row. Okay, so we would want the result here. So let's go ahead and now click on data, and then in filter you have an option called advanced, and here what I can do is I can say I would want to filter the list in the place, but that's not what I would want to do. So I'll say copy to another location, and here if you see the list range will tell me that this is the data. So A1 to J126, so A to J column selected and all the rows. Criteria range is basically based on what I've given here. So that is M from 1 to V, which is 3. So I'm selecting these columns and then I'm saying all the way whatever criteria I've given, and copy to, I'm saying M8 to V8. So that basically will give me my filtered result. So you could basically just say okay, and now I have my data which has been filtered, and I have my area which is South County, that is without pool, Central with pool, again South County without pool, and then if you look at your central value, that's pool. So this is an advanced filter which we have applied, where simply we have filtered the data based on 2 columns and then we have our result. So in this way you can have your customized filter applied on 2 different columns and get your data, which can be either replacing the existing content, or in the same sheet in different set of columns and rows you can have your result. Let's look at one more example of filtering where you are trying to filter the data based on an AND condition being met in 2 different columns, and then you would want to filter out the data for only specific columns. So the situation is the agents with a house in North County, that should be county area, having 2 and a single type family. So we are talking about 2 bedrooms, and we would basically have a single type family, and here the criteria is that we would want to only populate these columns, which is agent, area, bedroom and type. Now what you can do is, as I explained earlier, that you can get your result in the same sheet in a different location. So here I have created these headers which says agent, area, bedrooms and type. Now this is basically a copy of all the columns what we have here: agent, data listed, area, list price, bedrooms, bath, square feet and so on. So you can basically create a copy of the headers here, and this is where we will give our advanced criteria to filter the data. So the conditions which need to be met is we need to look at North County. So for example, here in area, I can basically go ahead and select one of the values, North County. Now the criteria is having 2 bedrooms only. So let's say bedrooms, and let's say the value should be 2. And then basically I am saying a single type family. So when you would want the single type family, so here under type, I can give the criteria single type. So this is my AND condition. So we are saying North County area having 2 bedrooms and the type is single family. Now this is the criteria, which basically means if I select this one tells me that this is M1 row onwards till V2. So this is what we have, and we would want to filter based on this. So let's go ahead and then go for data, filter, advanced. And here in advanced, it says filter the list in place. Now that's not what we would want to do. So I'll say copy to another location. This basically selects the list range. So which is telling me A1 to J126. So that's the columns and rows selected. Criteria range is based on M1, V2, which we have given here, and copy to, I would say, for example, from M7 to P7. Now this is the area where this is the place where I want the result. Let's say OK. And now I get my data, which is based on the question which has been asked, that you would want the agents with a house in North County area having 2 bedrooms and single type family. So in this way, you can basically do advanced filtering, get your data and get it stored in the sheet anywhere at a different location. Well, I could have also done filtering in place, and that would have replaced the data which we have, but that's not what we want. We would want the filtered result in a different place. So this is how you can do some advanced filtering. We can also use Excel to filter out the data in one particular column, which might be conditional or say using some numerical filters. Now here, say for example, the problem statement is that you would want to display all the houses whose list price is between 45,000 to 600,000. Or say for example, we would want to filter out the data to something else. Say for example, let's say I would want to filter out the data between 300,000 and 400,000. So we can basically update this. Say for example, I'm saying I'm interested in 300,000 to 400,000, and that's the criteria to filter out the data. Now there are two different ways, or there are two easier ways to do it. One is I would want to look at the list price. So I can select this. I can go ahead and do a filter here, and in the list price, now this is where we would want to do the filtering. So it's pretty easy. You can click on this one and then you can go into number filters and you can choose between. Now that's one easier way of doing it. So I could basically select this. I could say I'm looking for value which is greater than or equal to 300,000 and then is less than or equal to 400,000. So if I just do this, I have applied my filter and I have my data which is filtered based on my criteria, right? So that's one easier way of doing it. Or let me do a Control Z. Now let the filter be there, which you can anyways use. But what we can also do is, as we have seen earlier methods, so get a set or get your column headers here, and then you are giving two columns here. Now the only difference between my this set of columns, which I have 1 2 3 4, and then you have 7 and 10 columns, and if you see here we have 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11, right? So whenever you want a AND condition, you will basically add the columns where I can give add condition if it is the same column. If it was a different column, then it would be same number of columns, but AND conditions will lie in the same line and OR condition would lie in a different line. Now here I can give this value, so I am looking for listed price being between 300,000. So I am saying it should be greater than or equal to 300,000, and then I can say less than or equal to 400,000. Now that's my criteria, and then I need my result here, which is in M7. So what I can do is, once I've given my criteria which I'll be using to filter, I can get into data, I can get into advanced, and then I can say copy to another location. So it is selecting my A1 to J126. Criteria range is based on M1 to W2, and then I would want my result from this particular column. So let's say OK, and now you have your data filtered out in a different location in the sheet, which has been filtered based on your AND condition. So you can filter out the data in this way, or you could just apply a filter on a column and give the conditions. Now let's solve one more interesting problem. And here we would want to use Excel, where we would have an and, an or condition. So say for example, this is the data given to you, and the question is that you would want to find all the houses in North County. Again, that's a spelling mistake, but then they are North County area with a list price greater than 300,000 and having 3 or 4 bedrooms. So the bedroom has conditional, so it has or 3 and 4, and then basically you have list price which is greater than 300,000. Now I could have obviously selected the columns and then basically gone for a filter. So I can just do a filtering here, and then I'm looking for list price being greater than 300,000, so which we can always give a number filter, and I can say greater than, and then I can say greater than or equal. So I can say greater than, and then I can give 3,000, 30, 300,000, and that's basically the filter which we would want. And here I would want to select the bedrooms, which should be just either 3 or 4. So if for example here I go in here and I unselect this and then I say 3 and 4, right? So I am getting my data which is greater than 300,000, and it should have the bedroom values which will be either 3 or 4 selected. Now that's one way of doing it. Let's do a Control Z and get it back to as we were, or you can even just say clear filter, so you get your data back as it was. So what we can do is we can here give the criteria. So for example, I have my list price. Now this is what I would want as a condition. So let's say greater than 300,000, and bedrooms should be 3. And then I can say greater than 300,000, and then I can say 4. So this one basically gives me a situation where your list price has to be greater than 300,000 and bedroom should be either 3 or 4. So we have given our filtering criteria. Now to get the result, what we can do is we can go into data, we can go into advanced, and we can say copy to another location. So our list range is selected, which is columns A to J, row number 1 to 126. Your criteria range is given in M1 to V3, where we have specified, and we are saying the result would be in M7 to V7. So if I do this, now I have got the same data which we were seeing earlier, and here the bedroom values are 3 or 4, and basically the list price is greater than 300,000. So this is a simpler way in which you can create your filters. And all this advanced filtering, what we are seeing, it will be saved with your sheet. You can always go back and change this value, or you could do filtering where one person has to look into the filter to see what values have been selected.
Now with that, we have come to an end of this session on slicers and filters in Excel. If you have any queries regarding any of the topics covered in this session, or if you need the datasets we used in this session, then please feel free to let us know in the comment section below, and our team of experts will be happy to resolve all your queries at the earliest. Until next time, thank you, stay safe, and keep learning.
Hi there, if you like this video, subscribe to the Simplilearn YouTube channel and click here to watch similar videos. To nerd up and get certified, click here.